After having cleaned up the ear region of the model, we're going to continue with the edges of the mouth. Going back to the strokes tool once more, hit the enter key. Now work on the lower region. Hit the enter key one more time. I could have connected this when I was using the strokes tool, but I wasn't quite sure at that particular moment if I wanted to or not. I think I'm going to redirect the topology here. Select the delete polygon tool and just delete that one with the points and faces. I'll kind of manually redirect this a little bit. With the quads tool, using the 2 clicks method. Just want to try and clean this up a little bit before I continue with the quads tool. Use the brush tool to smooth and relax a little bit. Use split rings to finish connecting those. Add split tool to finish connecting the two. I'm now going to move up to the eye region to do a little work here. And I'm going to hit the S key to turn symmetry on first. Select an edge. Then I have a hotkey for edge loop. And select the transform tool. I can scale it in, move it in. In this case, I'm just going to make the eyelid a little bit thicker. Use the split rings tool to give myself an extra edge loop there. Select the inner loop one more time. I scaled it out and then moved it in. You don't necessarily have to do this if you don't want to have an eye socket. In some cases, you may just want just an outer mesh and that's it. But in this case, I'm going to work on the eye socket. Using the Move Vertices tool to tweak the position of the vertices a little bit before I resume. I'll turn Auto Snap off and I'll hide the underlying voxel object in the Vox Tree Layer panel. We'll select the inner loop again. I'll select the Transform tool again and scale along the X-axis, and you can see that flattens the entire loop or selected edges. Unhide the underlying voxel object once again. I'll go ahead and hit the Escape key to get out of the Transform tool. You split rings one more time. And you turn Auto Snap back on so it'll snap to the voxel object. So use split rings to add another loop there just so I have extra geometry. And two main axis is essentially your local axis. Move vertices and switch to vertices mode. Now switch to the Cap tool to close that open part of the geometry. And then split rings to add a few extra edge loops. And by holding the Shift key while using the brush tool, I can locally relax the geometry under my brush. And there's probably an easier way to do this, or a quicker way of doing it. You can select entire edge loop and use the Relax tool to do it. I'm just using a different way to skin the same cat, so to speak. Now I'm going to tweak the vertices around the eyelids. Now I'm going to switch to the Cap tool to close off this open area in the chin and also the claws. It's especially effective for closing off sharp pointed objects like teeth, claws, things of that sort. To clean it up a little bit if needed, we can always add extra edge loops. I'm going to skip forward just a little bit and start working here in the gum region. I'll just continue using the strokes tool to sketch out or map out the topology. And as before, whenever I'm ready to generate a mesh from the strokes, I can just hit the Enter key. And after you've generated a mesh, oftentimes you may want to visually inspect it to see if you have areas where you've got overlapping vertices and so on. I'm going back to the Points and Faces tool because it is pretty versatile in the sense that it allows you to create geometry, tweak the position of vertices, as well as weld vertices together. I'm going to switch to delete edges, then add split tool. It doubles as a cut or knife tool, as well as having the same right mouse button functionality as the Points and Faces tool, where you can right click over a vertice and drag it where you need, as well as dragging it over the top of another vertice in order to weld them together. Skipping forward just a little bit, I selected a group of polygons with the Select tool, and with the Free Extrude tool, I can extrude them inward or use the gizmo to extrude them outward. Works much like the Extrude tool in Maya or the Inset tool in 3ds Max. Using the Quads tool once more. Now back to the Points and Faces. With the Quads tool under the direct method, I can just quickly go right down the line. Switch to parallel, works a little bit better in this circumstance. So now I need to straighten all these and bring them in line toward the center. The best way to do that is select all the vertices, and using the transform tool I can scale all the vertices along a given axis. Go back to the strokes tool real quick. Now to generate the mesh, I'm going to hit the Enter key. So this would be a good point to stop the video right here. We're going to pick up in the next one where we're going to finish the retopology stage and then begin to bake all of our textures down to this retopologized mesh. So stay tuned and thank you for watching.